Hello everyone and welcome to Jacqs. Thanks for joining me today for Tag Your It YouTube collaboration. This collaboration is in honor of Country Craft Creations storefront grand opening, which is today. It's so exciting to be part of this new store opening for crafters. And I will have their website linked down below so you can check that out, as well as the products that I'll be using today. So if you're following along in this collaboration, you came from Margaret Knob Designs, and Bobby Weaver will follow me, the Paper Jungle. I will have a list of all of the designers who are participating in this collaboration, as well as their times, linked down below. But remember, you can visit our websites at any time to see these videos after today. Before we get started, I thought I would do a little montage of Country Craft Creations exclusive paper collections. Tamara creates some of the most beautiful paper collections I have ever seen, and I love the variety and frequency in which she puts out her paper collections. At a time when it's hard to get paper crafting supplies, she always delivers. So I hope that you will check out her website and find something that you like as well. Now let's get on to what I'm creating for Tag Your It. For my project today, I'll be using the Music Box paper collection by Country Craft Creations. This has a vintage music theme, and I'm excited to use that. I'll also be using black artisan cardstock, which I also picked up from Country Craft Creations. In addition, I picked up the Heartfelt Creations album tags and accents die set, and I'll be using the two largest tags from this set. For my background, I'm using a non-stick mat that I picked up from Amazon. I was going to use my Tim Holtz glass mat, but it really reflects the lights up above a lot, so I didn't want that to interfere with today's video. So while I had many ideas on what to create for this collaboration, I ended up landing on something that has been on my crafty to-do list for some time, and that is to create mixed media tags. So one of the first things I did was take the large Heartfelt Creations tag die and cut out 3 of the largest tags. These are going to be the base for my mixed media tags. For my deco layer of my tag, I ended up selecting this paper from the collection and used the second largest die to cut that out. So that will be going on top of the black cardstock. Now I want this to be a little grungy, so I've brought out my little sander tool here. This is from Prima. I don't even know what this is called. I've had it so long, but it can tear the edges. And then I have some other mixed media items. Let me go over them just in case. I'm not sure I'm going to use all of them, but I just want to kind of tell you what I have on hand. So I have the Tim Holtz collage paper, Liquitex gesso, Finnabar metallic flakes. This is the vintage one, and I picked that up from Country Craft Creations. I have black soot distress oxide ink, art glitter glue, which I got from Country Craft Creations, and then I have distress collage medium matte. Now I want my project to have a lot of dimension, so instead of just gluing these two pieces together, what I decided to do was take some super lightweight kind of chipboard and run that through my die cutting machine with the same size die that I use for the decorative piece. Now, I am going to rough up the edges of this piece, so I may need to cut this down a little bit. I just wanted it to be off the tag rather than straight on it. If you look, see here, hopefully you can tell. Now look if I take this out. Can you see the difference? I hope you can on screen. I know you certainly can in person. But it really just gives a little bit of dimension there where there usually is none. So that's another thing that I did, was to cut out the lightweight chipboard. Now this is probably a cereal box weight, so if you have that on hand, that'll work perfect. Okay, so I'm going to set these two aside and we're going to focus on our decorative piece for a moment. One of the first things I did was use the black soot ink around the edges, but now I'm actually going to go around and kind of scuff it up. You see how it scuffs up the edges? I love that look. I mean, you could even go in really deep and make a cut if you wanted to. think what I'll do is use the back of this. Oh, I like that. Okay, so I just work the edges and scuff them up to where I like it. Don't be afraid to give this a try. If you find out you don't like it and you're actually using Country Craft Creations, she provides 3 of each of the designs, so you'll have plenty of paper to play with. Okay, so I think that looks good. Okay, now that I have my scuffing up done, we can align that with the chipboard tag. And you can see just a little bit of it. So I think I'll cut off some of the edges. Probably just taking off a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch. Now we can glue this down. And now we can even glue this onto our base. So I'm going to take the Tim Holtz paper and tear out one of the images. This is that collage paper. I just like the idea of adding it down here in the corner. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, that's the whole point of mixed media, right? So I'll use some collage medium here. So I'm going to use a brush if I can find it. So I'm just going to brush on the collage medium. I'm having a hard time getting it out. There we go. Then I'm going to put some over top of it. I think I'll add some up here as well. Just this little piece right here. I was going to use the metallic flakes, but I think I'm going to use Heidi Swapp's foil flakes instead because they're silver. This gets everywhere. Oh, well, we want that. So I'm just going to kind of go on the edge, just add some glue and some spots. And we'll see what comes of it. Ooh, this is like little bunches. One big ball, you guys. This is weird. I don't remember where I put my glue now. Look at that. Well, I'm glad this is a play day. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, quality-wise, this is better. It's not all clumped together. All right. And I decided to use silver, even though there's some gold tones in here, because the piano I'm going to put on here has a silver tone. Okay. So I guess I'll use this to brush things off. Oh, that's a lot. Oh, well, we're just playing around and experimenting. I have created mixed media tags before, and it's always just fun because you really never know what you're going to end up with. And I know the reason I said this was on my bucket list, and even though I've done it before, is it was on my bucket list to do it with this particular paper collection. Okay. Now I need to clean up my table here, and I'll be right back. Now what I'm going to do is start adding some layers. One of the items that I selected was this lace tulle, and I'm going to put that down on the base. And I guess I'll just add these on as I go. I do have my glue gun warming up, but I'm going to use my art glitter glue right now. The more layers that get added, the more that lace will stick down. Now I changed my lighting a little bit. I hope that is better. So on the back of some of the pieces that I selected, what I've done is taken some chipboard and I've glued it onto the back of the cardstock piece. Again, this is just like your normal chipboard that you would use when creating albums, medium to lightweight, and just cutting the segment to fit the piece. For this, I just tore this out of the paper. I put some black soot around it, and then I tore it a little bit more. I don't know if this is going to stick very well. Maybe I should use my hot glue gun. Oh. Yeah, I think I'll use that because it's kind of still wet. And we're impatient. Now I have this little piece. Okay, so you see here I just layered on the chipboard, and actually in this case I put 2 pieces on the center because when you overlap it you only need 1. But it will be higher than the previous one because I added 2 in the middle, okay? So when you want this to be higher than your previous layer, you add 2 or more, and then for your sides to overlap, you need 1 less at least of whatever you put in the middle, okay? I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I wanted to put these down in here. We'll see how this works. Okay, just these were little floral pieces that I had in my stash. Those are good to layer. And then I had this little item. I think these are from the wedding section at Hobby Lobby. Kind of want to add that. I'm going to put my piano here. I did add the chipboard on the back of my piano as well. I have 3 layers here in the center. Okay, there we go. That's where I want it. And I pulled a butterfly, and this came from Dollar Tree. Let's see how we want it first. I think I want it underneath there. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. I like these because they were dimensional. Ooh. Oh yeah. Okay, I added some little flowers there, and I'm going to go ahead and add another one over here. I already glued it onto the leaf because I figured out the position that I wanted it to be. And I have these little baby leaves that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to stick them down in behind the flowers I put there. And then one up here. So what's great about making mixed media tags is you can really add all kinds of things to your project. Just makes it really fun. Okay. And I decided I want my sentiment to be in here. Let's see. I think right about there looks cute. Trying to be strategic and put those little bally things in between the words. So my sentiment is from Tim Holtz. Okay, next I'm going to add some gesso to my little palette here. And I'm going to take just a regular cosmetic sponge and just put a little bit on the sponge because I want it to be dabbable. Is that a word? I don't know. And I'm just going to go around and do some dabbing. Like if it's too much, just wipe it off really quickly. Kind of like it on the edge of the black cardstock also. Yeah. Let's put some on the piano there, just on the edge. Okay, I added a little bit of water to the gesso, and I'm just watering that down so I can do some little splattering. I'm just gonna tap this. Maybe I don't have enough. Okay. Now I want to add some glue in certain spots, And we're going to add on some like little glitter pieces. Just doing random. So I have this holographic silver. I think this would be fun to use. Oh, okay. I should do this on another piece of paper. Hold on. I'm gonna put some deli paper under this and just give it little sprinkles. Because I totally forgot where I put my glue. What's stuck to the piano? Very sparkly. It does stick to the paper whether you have glue there or not, which is funny. And for the finishing touches, I'm going to add some little enamel dots or adhesive pearls or these little gem dots that I have in my stash. I am going to add just a little bit of glue underneath them so that they'll stay on good. I feel like it needs something else down here, so I'm going to add another torn piece of the music. Just adding some more of the gesso there on there. And I think that looks good, like that. Or yeah, like that. I even added it to the enamel dots just to kind of blend them in with the rest of the design. And I really, really like that. Okay, so that is our first mixed media tag. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna punch the hole in it or not. I'm liking it just like this for right now. So I'm gonna set this one aside and get started on the next one. So here is the second tag. It's all done, and I am absolutely loving how this one turned out. As you saw, I did a different type of design by laying down one decorative piece on top of the black cardstock and then adding another piece, which I tore down the middle and created these like little curly cues on each side, where I then tucked in this big floral piece. Absolutely love using these. It just makes it so much easier. And so I just tucked that down in between the torn paper, added a little bow down here. Then I took some lace ribbon, cut that down, and tucked it up underneath the curls. And I just love that. I love adding fabric to these tags. It just is really great to have that type of texture on there. For the bottom part of the tag here, I added a butterfly rub-on, which had some words on it. I like how that looks there. And I've kept the butterfly theme throughout this project for each of these tags. The Dream was a wood veneer that I use Recollections Snow embossing powder on, and I did it twice, so it's kind of puffy. It's a really cool effect. I don't know if you've ever embossed an item twice, but it's really fun. I was going to do it a third time, but I didn't want it to get too thick. So I just really like how that turned out. And then I added my regular treatments. We have the gesso, we have the foiling. I added some gemstones throughout. And offline, I did add another butterfly. I added the gesso around it and did some splatters on it before I added it to the tag. So if you create a tag and you feel like it's still missing something after you've let it sit for a moment, it's okay to re-add things, and you can still add the same type of treatment to it that the whole tag has and then just add it on like I did here. In addition, I added some Spectrum Noir sparkle. This is the crystal clear sparkle. I love that stuff. I added it to the ballerina's dress. Hope you can see it there. It's super, super sparkly. And then I added it to the butterfly rub-on that I added down here. Did a little bit over here, just a little bit everywhere, even on that butterfly there, just to kind of give it more of a sparkle. I must say, I'm thinking this might be my favorite of the three, and you haven't seen the third one yet, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. I did want to mention that I added the hole here before I placed everything down in case I want to use it as a tag. So I had to do that so I knew where to place things. So keep that in mind if you use a tag that doesn't have a hole in it already. You want to keep that in mind when you're placing things down. So that's why I went ahead and added the hole there. And I love that I put the gold foiling around the hole. It just, I don't know, it's just something about that. I am absolutely loving that. So here's a look up close before I switch to the next one. Yep, just loving it. Now, before I go to the third one you haven't seen at all, I want to come back to the first one that we made together. I did go back and add some silver foil around the hole after I punched it, just so that it would mirror this one. I also added Spectrum Sparkle to the flowers on the piano, even the piano keys. Again, just to give it a little sparkle. I hope you'll be able to see that it's really pretty, and even on the butterfly a little bit. So that's those two. And here is my third one. I was running out of my little spriggy stuff, so I made this one very light in my opinion compared to the other two. But you know what, I think as a set that's really nice. You kind of if you look at it this way, you're starting out light, you're getting medium, and then very heavy. So it's kind of, you know, it goes together, which is kind of fun. So on this one, I did the same treatment as I've done with all of them. I did add some gold sparkle tulle here in the background. I had an acetate bird cage that had a butterfly on it that already had some glitter on there, which was perfect for this. There was a flower on it as well. Added my little violin. I fussy cut this from the paper as well as the piano. I don't think I mentioned that before. And this sentiment here, where words fail, music speaks, was a ephemera piece, and then I just tore around it to get it to the size that I wanted. I added my roses here. Again, I used the Spectrum Sparkle. I put it all over the roses. You can definitely see it on this one. So they're very sparkly. I added it to the flowers here on the violin. I went across the words very lightly. Yeah, I don't know if I'm catching it to where you can see it, but it's very pretty. And then I added a rub-on butterfly here at the top. Added my little spriggy stuff. And I'm loving how simple this one is. So that is our mixed media tags for today. I hope that you have enjoyed this process, and I hope that you try to create one as well. And if you do, please share that with me. I would love to see your projects. And don't forget, the reason we are here is to celebrate Country Craft Creations storefront opening. I'm so excited for Tamara and her team, as well as all the other designers. And I hope that you'll check everything out on the Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations Facebook page. I know Sally will be posting videos about the new store opening. We've already seen some sneak peeks, which has been really fun. It's almost as if you were there. And don't forget to follow along with the rest of the Tag Your It collaboration, and Bobby Weaver is next. So thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.